Welcome to San Francisco. We've got just a beautiful Saturday afternoon in one of the most beautiful ballparks, Oracle Park in San Francisco, and the New York Mets off to this great start, ready to take on the San Francisco Giants and several old friends, including, of course, Michael Conforto in his first year with the Giants. Welcome inside. Hope you're having a great weekend. Joe Davis, Eric Karros, Ken Rosenthal joins us in a moment. The Mets are 14-7, but not because of that fantastic rotation they put together in the offseason. It's been mostly, EK, because of the offense.
Well, it really has. It's been a collective effort, but it's revolved around two hitters. At the top, Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso in the middle. Nimmo, he's been getting on base at a record clip. Had 5 hits the other day against the Dodgers. And what has Pete Alonso done? When Nimmo's on, he drives them in. Last 2 games, a home run in each of them, 4 RBIs as well.
And 10 total for Alonso in the home run category to lead the majors so far. The Giants, meanwhile, not much has gone right this season for San Francisco, although they did sign quietly one of the best pitchers in the National League to an extension last week. His name's Logan Webb, and he starts today.
Well, and he's earned the right to be the ace of this Giants staff, and he's going to try to right the ship today. Logan Webb has got that great slider, that sinker, that changeup. You see what he's done in the last year. One of the most durable starters and one of the best starters in the National League.
Have his hands full today against that Mets lineup as the Mets try to get their 9th win out of their last 10 games in this long West Coast swing where they've been dominant. San Francisco trying to figure things out. We've got a perfect day for these teams to go head-to-head on Fox Saturday Baseball. Well, how about this weather day in San Francisco? 65 degrees, just a light breeze. Perfect day for baseball inside Oracle Park, where the Mets took the first 2 games of this series. 9-4 on Thursday, 7-0 last night. And we'll bring this lineup to the plate as penned out by manager Buck Showalter. Brandon Nimmo red hot at the top of the order. Starling Marte's in there for the first time in this series. He's dealt with a neck issue. Then Lindor, and the major league leader in home runs, Pete Alonso, followed by the reigning batting champ, Jeff McNeil. Mark Canha's in left, and then Vogelbach, Beatty, and Nito round things out for New York. Against the 26-year-old Logan Webb, and you look at the numbers he can, it's like, well, what's going on here? But he's only gotten 7 runs of support in the 4 starts, and so 0-4 not shocking. And the ERA elevated because of more home runs than usual with him.
Yeah, that's something that kind of jumps out. It's the 5 home runs, which, as we spoke to Gabe Kapler before the game, that's not going to trend that's going to continue at all. Ground ball guy, expect a lot of ground balls today.
Off we go with strike 1 on Brandon Nimmo. Have a week, Brandon Nimmo. 8 games on this trip. He's hitting .514. And an 0-1 from Webb. Fouls it off, and it's 0-2.
Well, that game he had on Wednesday against the Dodgers, hit a home run off Noah Syndergaard, a former Met. 5 hits, but he has just been setting the table this year.
Bounces this one up the middle to Brandon Crawford. And there is a ground out for Logan Webb to start the day. And the umpiring crew has Chad Whitson behind home plate. Bill Miller, the crew chief, called balls and strikes last night, is at third base. Up comes Starling Marte. Fantastic last year in his first year with the Mets. And then this year, got off to a bit of a slow start, then hurt his neck in a collision at third base. And has had a hard time turning his head towards the pitcher. I'd figure that'd make hitting pretty hard. So they've given him the last few days off.
Good to get him back in the lineup. But even so, the Mets have been scoring runs and doing well offensively. Just added a piece today.
Yeah, in these 2 games here, EK, 16 runs on 26 hits. And it's not a lineup that collectively has a ton of power, but they're 4th in the majors in on-base percentage. They're 5th in the majors in steals. And they have the individual best power hitter in the game. Backhand play by Villar. Whips it across the diamond and gets him. David Villar starting over there with J.D. Davis getting the day off. That has been a weakness for the Giants. Infield defense, but not here.
No, that play is sick. He goes down the line, makes a nice play, gathers himself and just flips it over. Doesn't try to hurry, doesn't try to rush. Logan Webb absolutely appreciates it. One of the things about throwing ground balls, you keep your defense involved.
2 up and 2 down. Here's Francisco Lindor. And that's kind of the thing with Webb and this entire Giants staff. It's a bunch of ground ball pitchers, but with a defense that's not been good at fielding them the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been one of the knocks on the Giants. If it's to them, they'll clean it up. But moving, they don't have a lot of range. It's an older group, and that's one of the things that Gabe Kapler was talking to. We've got to maintain our twitchiness, our athleticism.
One hopper to first, Flores to the bag, and just how you draw it up if you're Logan Webb and the Giants. 3 grounders, 3 outs. This 4-game series, and the Giants coming to bat for the first time today with this lineup from Gabe Kapler. Estrada, Ruff, and Conforto. Really, we should be saying Ruff, Conforto, Flores, the guys to focus on. The former Mets hitting 2, 3, and 4 against the Mets. Then VR and Crawford. Joey Bart down at the bottom with Ramos and Wade. And this is left-hander David Peterson, and the key words there, left-hander, because it hadn't mattered who it is. If you're left-handed, you're dominating the Giants so far this year.
Yeah, that's been the case. You know, one of the things, though, to look for this afternoon, the matchup with Peterson, is you see what he's going to go after you with. 28% fastball. He likes that changeup, the slider as well. But look at the matchup with Conforto and Crawford. I know it's lefty versus lefty there, but in his last start, Peterson gave up 3 home runs to left-handed hitters, Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy. 2 by Freddie, 1 by Max.
2 balls, 1 strike on Thairo Estrada. David Peterson, 27 years old, out of Colorado, getting his chance in the rotation again this year because of the injuries the Mets have dealt with there. There's a little spinner off the end of the bat that sends McNeil running for it and throwing wide. And Thairo Estrada's got an infield single.
It's a tough play for an infielder. You see that changeup. It's off the end of the bat. It's probably got a lot of spin on it, so McNeil can't charge it or anything. He goes over, he waits to get there, and then you watch the throw. It almost like it slipped out of his hand. Alonso does a nice job getting off the bag, but never had a grip.
Giants, after they got shut out yesterday, have the leadoff man on here in the first inning, and Darren Ruff takes ball 1 inside. Back with the Giants after a short stay with the Mets last year. You know, Darren Ruff's first 2 seasons with the San Francisco Giants, 2020, 2021, he was quietly one of the best hitters in the National League. But struggled last year. Then he gets traded to the Mets and hit 152, didn't hit a home run in his 2 months there. Released at the end of spring training, and the Giants said, well, we'll go ahead and take you back. You were excellent for us. And what he does best is hit left-handed pitching. He's ahead 2-1.
Yeah, he can still play and he can still hit. Just wasn't a good fit in New York. A lot of things went on. And always going to a new place, you've got to get acclimated to things, the culture, your surroundings. And it's not always an easy transition.
5 of 18 with a couple doubles since coming back to the Giants this year. On a 2-1 pitch, he takes a high strike, and it's 2-2. It was Joey Lucchesi last night in his first big league outing in 2 years. 7 shutout innings as a lefty for the Mets against the Giants. Lefty Peterson today gets a strikeout and a changeup. That's been his best pitch so far this season. Threw a career high 28 of them against the Dodgers on Monday.
Well, that's the trick about pitching. You want to throw balls that look like strikes. And Darren Ruff, he thought that thing was going to make it all the way to the plate. He offers at it. Great pitch by Peterson.
1 gone in this first inning. Michael Conforto, the old New York Met. Swings and misses at the first pitch here. He spent 7 seasons with the Mets and had some wonderful moments. I mean, he was in the majors a year after he was drafted in the first round. He's hitting over 30 home runs a year, but then just picked a really bad time to have his worst year, right, going into free agency. And then he had the shoulder issue, and so he's lingering on the free agent market last year. Ultimately says, I'm going to have this shoulder fixed. I'm going to sit the year out. and then signed a 2-year contract with the Giants, who are hopeful he can be a comeback player of the year type guy. Ball and a strike.
But he's been out for a while, obviously, nursing injury, back in here starting today. Had a big home run against the Marlins a couple days ago in extra innings.
That's the other thing, Eric, with the Giants. They're not particularly deep, and the spots where they can't afford to have injuries, they have key injuries. Haniger and Slater both yet to play. Jock Peterson's been on the injured list. And Conforto, he's been limited to pinch hitting the last week. Hits a sharp ground ball into center field for a base hit. Estrada heads for third, and they've got him cornered with one away. So Michael Conforto with a single. And they're at first and third here.
This pitch just a little up in the zone. Really a nice job, though, by Estrada in the base running. Never hesitates. He's got the play in front of him, and he sees what he needs to do. The minute he sees where Nimmo is, he's decided, I'm going. Doesn't even need to pick up the third base coach. Really a nice job.
From one former Met to another, Wilmer Flores. Flores, the one guy in this lineup doing his thing against lefties, hitting above 400 against southpaws. Rest of the team 179. Flores, 31 years old, 4th year in San Francisco. Now this 1-0 pitch takes inside, ball 2. They're just so steady, this guy.
Right, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a professional at bat right now in this situation. He's looking for something up in the zone. He's got to keep it off of the ground. Doesn't want to hit into a double play.
Yanks it down the line, foul. And one of the many former New York Mets we're detailing in this lineup, and J.D. Davis, who's probably been the best of the bunch so far this year, not in the lineup today. He's feeling a little bit worn down. He's played every game so far, so gets the day off.
And you've got J.D. Davis's numbers offensively been great, but defense is where he has really shined as well this year.
Yeah, going from being bad last year at third to Gold Glove caliber through the first few weeks. 3-1 on Wilmer Flores. Giants have dropped 7 of their last 8 games. Chance to take an early lead here, though. That's high and tight, and the bases are loaded.
Really a nice job by Flores. Peterson had tried to go to the same spot 2 times in a row. Both pitches off the plate and balls, but also very enticing, especially in an RBI situation. Really nice job by Flores.
There is Buck Showalter in his 2nd season as the Mets manager. Has him off to a great start at 14-7. David Villar with the bases loaded. Watches a first pitch changeup for a strike. Villar was the AA player of the year in 2021. He was the AAA player of the year last year, which got him an opportunity in the majors, and did enough there to make his first opening day roster this year. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's got some pop. Obviously, power guy. They would like him to be the answer at third base. They've had to bounce him around, and he hasn't got going yet offensively.
In the air to center field. Nimmo on the move. Still coming. He lays out and makes the grab. First run will come in, but Brandon Nimmo, a diving catch. Keep it from turning into more. It's 1-0 San Francisco on a sacrifice fly from David Villar.
It gets us a little off the end of the bat. Nimmo does a nice job of coming in and corralling that thing on the dive. Giants will take it, though, getting on the board first.
After they got shut out yesterday, they get a first inning run against David Peterson here. 2 on with 2 out, and here is Brandon Crawford, whose fortunes really have matched those of the Giants over the last 2 years. Shocked everybody in 2021 with a resurgent year. Struggled badly last year. And I guess you can extend that, matching the fortunes of the team as a whole, into this year, because Crawford's hitting just .151, and the team sits at 6-13. Ball and a strike.
I mean, the reality is he's the oldest shortstop in the league, and nobody has beat Father Time. To be asked to go out there and try and play the position every day, it's taxing.
36-year-old in his 13th year, ahead in the count, 2-1. Only 3 guys have played with their current teams longer than Brandon Crawford has played with the Giants. Last link to their last championship team. 2-1. Crawford chases, and it's 2-2. Part of those championships in 2012, 2014.
Outside.
Watches this one miss away to run the count full. 12 straight years as the opening day shortstop of the Giants, and more games played at short than any Giant ever. Runners will get a head start as this 3-2 comes home from David Peterson, and Crawford bangs one in the air, down the line, way back and gone. Brandon Crawford, a 3-run shot.
It's a 3-2 pitch, just kind of spins over the middle part of the plate. We talked about it at the top of the show. Peterson has been susceptible to the left-handed home run. Crawford, I mean, we said Crawford and Conforto, watch him today, and Crawford answered the bell.
Joey Bart with 2 away takes the ball. Yeah, so for David Peterson, that's his 4th home run allowed to a left-handed hitter in his last 7 innings. And Mets pitching collectively has given up more than any team in the league. 2-0 on Bart. Brandon Crawford reminds folks of the old Brandon Crawford with his 3rd home run of the season there. Generous outside edge there. 2-1. You know, the Giants offensively, they've done that. They're 2nd in the league in home runs, but they have had to do that to have a chance. By far the most home run reliant team in the league.
Yeah, I think leading the league too. They were at the top of the category in strikeouts, and offensively they just, yes, they've got some power, but they're not stringing hits together. They don't walk a ton.
Chopper to 3rd. The rookie Brett Beatty to get Joey Bart and finish off this 1st inning. But the Giants, one day after getting shut out, get 4 runs in the 1st inning. And it's the old guard, Brandon Crawford, a 3-run shot. 4-0 San Francisco after 1. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Back in San Francisco on a Brandon Crawford 3-run home run. The Giants with an early lead. And Pete Alonso leads off the 2nd. Takes strike 1 from Logan Webb. Alonso 2 games in this series, a home run and 4 knocked in both, and that gives him 10 total for the year to lead the majors. And already with a week still left in the month, he's hit more home runs than any Met ever before May 1st.
I mean, as a hitter, he's really in his zone, right? He's not chasing pitches. He's got a ton of confidence. You know, one of the things, you go back to last night, he struck out 3 times, and he had 2 strikeouts in his first 2 at-bats. Looked overmatched, and then boom, first pitch, 3rd at-bat, gone, dead center.
On a 2-1 from Webb, he watches it catch the outside corner. Very generous one from Chad Whitson to even the count up.
No, it caught 6 inches outside the outside corner, right?
Yeah.
But it's been both ways. Peterson got one of those last inning.
Reaches out, flips this one in the air to center field for Elliot Ramos. And Logan Webb has retired the first 4. Let's go down to our guy Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, Logan Webb told me his stuff is better than it was all of last year. But one thing he has talked about going into this start is becoming less predictable, working up in the zone more, changing the eye levels of hitters. Everything he throws is down, so he wants to get that 4-seamer, which he doesn't like throwing very much, up, and maybe even the 2-seamer at times.
About time the hitters get him some help too. The first 4 starts had gotten 7 runs total in support, and they got him 4 in the first inning. That's his pitching coach Andrew Bailey. Here's his 0-1 to Jeff McNeil. A little bit inside, 1-1. Reigning batting champ in the National League here, 326 last year, and he's looked more like that guy on this road trip, hitting .476 in his last 6 games. Takes a strike, 1-2.
And you see that pitch right there, Joe. That was that sinker, but it was up in the zone, much like Kenny had just mentioned. Change in eye levels. Watch that thing just run and up in the zone. Goes there again.
The guys just give up on it. I mean, he had 15 called strikes on that pitch in his last start.
Well, especially for a left-handed hitter, that's just death because it freezes you. You think it's going to hit you. But Webb, he's got such great stuff. Not a comfortable at bat.
Kicks and fires a 2-2, and McNeil checked his swing. Full count.
Woof. Let's see. It's gonna be tough to see from here, but I mean, just offering like that. That's strike 3.
That actually technically is.
Right, that is justice.
Ball don't lie. And Logan Webb has his first strikeout of the game. Nasty.
Really, a change up running away. I think you go back to that last check swing though that McNeil had. That just tells you what kind of stuff Webb has. Now this is the batting champion, and he just absolutely ate him alive on that inside sinker.
Comes home to Mark Canha with strike 1. Another taken strike on that pitch. Canha, the longtime Oakland A, is in his 2nd season with the Mets. Good first year. Slow start to his 2nd year with the team. Ball and a strike. Good numbers against Webb, including 2 home runs on a 1-1 pitch. Takes away, ball 2.
You know, one of the things Webb, which is different than any point this year, he's got a 4-run lead. So not only does he have his stuff, but he's playing with 4 runs already, so he can be unpredictable, can do what he wants to do. I mean, it's not an enviable position right now for the Mets.
He's already a guy that's going to attack you. That's his personality. Right here it is, hit it. And now emboldened by those 4 early runs. Double down on that strategy.
Outside.
Count is full on Canha. 26-12 the last 2 years. ERA below 3. The lowest home run rate in the majors. And that's why what we've seen so far is both jarring and not too unsettling because it feels so fluky.
Right.
His payoff is a little bit inside, and the Mets have their first base runner on a Mark Canha walk. 11 home runs last year, and that was a career high. Never given up more than 11 in a year, and 5 in his first 4 starts this year.
So you figure that those things are going to normalize, right? So if he gave up 5 already, there's going to be a stretch where it's just going to be dry.
Inning kept alive for Daniel Vogelbach, who the Mets got at the trade deadline last year from Pittsburgh and immediately became a fan favorite. Had some big hits for him really throughout those couple months. Was very good in clutch situations. And DHs against right-handed pitching. And an 0-2 hole.
Also an excellent clubhouse presence. You know, not just a threat with the bat, but Always fun to have around.
Buck Showalter says that he's serious about the game but doesn't take himself too seriously. Kind of that perfect balance. And Buck loves him. On a 1-2 pitch, Vogelbach takes very high. Count evens 2-2. Now the Mets are off to this good start, especially offensively, even though they got 3 black holes in the lineup. Catcher's been a nothing. Third base, Eduardo Escobar struggled so badly they've already brought up Brett Beatty. And Vogelbach has not had his best numbers to begin, DHing.
I think that's been offset, though. You talk about those 3 positions being a struggle. Nimmo and Alonso have been otherworldly with what they've been able to do. And then Lindor, Lindor hasn't really got going, but he's driving in runs.
Another 2-2 and a little low, 3-2. Yeah, so you can look at this and be happy with the start if you're a Mets fan. You can also fantasize about what it can be if you get anything at all from the bottom of the order and Lindor starts doing more Lindor-like stuff.
And we're just talking offense right there. We haven't got into the pitchers.
Yeah, what about when some of their pitchers actually pitch? Wow. There's a towering fly ball to the deepest part of the yard. Vogelbach testing his big man power, and he gets it by Conforto. Picked the wrong spot to hit it. He'll settle for an RBI double, getting the Mets on the board at 4-1. Not too many places in any park in baseball that are harder to hit it out of than right there.
It looked like Conforto had a beat on it too, but this is such a tough outfield to play, especially right field here, just with all the quirks. And you've got fence, you've got padding, you've got brick, you've got, it's curved. It's so difficult.
So after Webb retired the first 5, he walks Canha with 2 out and then gives up the double to Vogelbach. And here is Brett Beatty. 23-year-old rookie, debuted last August and then came up this week and has gone 2 for 13. One of the top prospects in baseball. Fouls this one off, evens the count 1-1. First round pick in 2019 at a high school in Texas. He was, when you combine Escobar's struggles up here the first few weeks with what he was doing in AAA, he had 400 with 5 homers in 9 games. It kind of became a no-brainer to get him here.
Yeah, but you mentioned 2 outs and Canha up at the plate. Canha has had success off of Webb and went 3-2 and then ended up walking him. So you felt like, okay, was he a little tempered going after Canha? And then he just hasn't been able to find the strike zone since.
Here comes with a 2-2. Strikes him out. Slider to the knees to finish off the second. Mets get on the board with a 2-out double from Vogelbach. Giants, bottom of the second. Elliot Ramos fouls off a first pitch curveball from David Peterson. 8-9-1 for the Giants in this second inning, beginning with the 23-year-old rookie Ramos. Made it to the majors for 9 games last year. Started this season in AAA and then came up with this run of left-handers they're facing. Today makes his first start in center field. Just a trickle down of all the injuries the Giants have, especially in that outfield. 1-2. And Mitch Haniger was their big offseason signing, yet to play a game. They figure he'll be back within the next few days. Same thing with Austin Slater, who's not necessarily a superstar, but one thing he does do is hit left-handers. And Jock Peterson is off to a great start, coming off of the IL shortly with that wrist injury. 2-2.
Well, you mentioned missing Mitch Haniger. That was a guy that is going to play against righties and lefties. The big free agent signed for the Giants.
Shot in right center field, and that is over Marte and ricochets off the wall. Leadoff double for Elliot Ramos.
Ramos gets this pitch on the outer half and just drives this thing to right center. Nimmo does a nice job in center field coming over, because again, that right field is so difficult. So many nooks and crannies, and it shoots over to center field, and fortunately for the Mets, Nimmo's there to retrieve it and get it in.
LaMonte Wade, a rare start against a lefty. Bunts it and advances the runner promptly. High throw that gets by. Ramos comes in to score. Throw then gets by the catcher, and this looks like bad news Bears, although they've called dead ball over at first. So they're going to send Wade back to first, but the run does score. What are they saying now?
I think maybe it hit Wade up at the plate, right? I think it hit him again. It double hit the bat. Yeah.
Dead ball before it all began. So much for any of it. Foul ball, strike one.
Right. There's a lot going on right there.
So Ramos back to second. Corners are pinched in. There's strike two. (4-1) Giants. Leadoff double for Elliot Ramos. Mount Wade was up there trying to bunt first pitch and looked like successfully at first, but it was foul. And now this 1-2 pitch. Cut on and miss. Got him with a high fastball. Second strikeout for Peterson.
So in that previous play, LaMonte Wade, see how he bunted it, but then it bounces up and hits the bat again. And once it hits the bat again, dead ball. Down. Oh, there it goes again. That's why it went out towards the pitcher. Otherwise, it would have just gone straight up.
Surprised it went as long as it did before somebody really emphatically signaled that it was dead. Check swing, foul ball. Strike one on Thairo Estrada. Singleton scored in the first inning. Estrada, one of the bright spots for the Giants, and the latest under the radar pickup for Farhan Zaidi back in 2021. He's kept on improving.
Inside.
You look at Mike Yastrzemski or LaMonte Wade or Darren Ruff first time around. Estrada, another guy who wasn't playing much in his previous organization. He was with the Yankees. Giants got him for next to nothing, and now finds himself as one of their better players. Behind 1-2. Peterson comes home, and a chopper foul. Let's check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, they have done a great job with some of these under the radar guys, but the problem we all know, we learned about it this offseason again, acquiring stars. They struck out on Aaron Judge. Correa had the issue with his physical, and this team still lacks that big identity, the big bopper.
Jam shot, shallow center. That's down. Estrada's 2 for 2. Ramos had to wait to make sure that it would fall. He stops at third. Giants at the corners with one away.
This pitch in on the hands, and Estrada just does a nice job of fighting it out there. See, Ramos obviously couldn't go right away. Does a safe thing. Still only 1 out. Getting back to Kenny, what he was saying, it's if you're game planning for the Giants and you're the Mets, you know, who is that guy that you say, I can't let this player beat me? You know, you go, hey, Alonso's on the Mets, or you know, but the Giants, they just don't have that marquee name.
Darren Ruff with 2 men on and 1 out, takes ball 1. And you know, you understood it the first couple of years with the new regime, maneuvering and looking for every edge. A lot of times successfully. They had the dream 2021 season where everything went right. But then last year didn't get the repeat performance from the veterans, didn't stay healthy. Runner takes off, throw down. Nido can get in. Pick and a tag on the heel from Jeff McNeil.
I'm going to say no, right? That looked like all air.
The Giants are challenging the out call at second base.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's one of those things that years ago that never even would have been talked about, right? That throw way behind the runner, but nowadays it's always, did he clip him on the foot or did he get him in the leg? And that one just looked like a lot of space between glove and calf or foot, right? What do you got there?
I tend to agree with you. Strings don't count.
Right? No, that's not happening for me. Safe for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that angle right there confirms it. Thairo Estrada, the one real threat on the bases for the Giants so far. This is going to make him 5 for 5, assuming this does get overturned. This is the part of the game that's seen the most significant change as a result of the rule changes. Stolen base environment. More stolen bases per game than any year in 30 years. Back to the early 90s when it was a much bigger part of the game, much bigger part of the fabric. On pace for 1,100 more stolen bases this year across baseball than last year.
Well, I think it's going to make teams reevaluate their roster, right? What do you know, how do you construct it? Do you have that designated runner? Do you? Absolutely a new facet in the game. Yeah, I don't understand. You know, why is this taking so long, right? It seemed pretty obvious from the shots that we saw.
Dave Kapler and Kai Correa wondering the same thing.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. San Francisco will retain their challenge.
So it is a good stolen base for Thairo Estrada. You know, the effects are widespread. The dead time removed from the game, 30 minutes of dead time compared to the last 2 seasons. See the stolen base attempts and success rate. Ultimate outcome is that there's more diversity in styles team to team, and there are more blueprints for success. Ruff with a base hit the other way through the drawn and infield. Ramos in to score. Estrada stopped. Throw goes by, and taking second is Ruff. So now it's 5-1 San Francisco as Ruff drives home Ramos.
Well, I said it earlier in his first at bat. The guy can still play and he can still hit, and it's evident right there. Men on second and third does a nice job of shooting it out to right field, and then even better, he ends up on second base. The throw from Marte is high, misses the cutoff man. Ruff does a nice job. He keeps going. This ball again, you see him heading into second. Really a nice baseball play right there.
This Giants team we were talking about coming into the game, the worst in the majors against left-handed pitching. Already 5 runs against David Peterson. 5 runs on 6 hits and a walk in 1 1/3. Second and third one away. Infield in still as Michael Conforto climbs in and takes a spinner for a strike. Conforto is one of the pivots after the Giants struck out on Judge. Had it fall through with Correa, and they spread things out to a bunch of different free agents, just much less impactful. They wound up spreading close to $200 million across 7 players. Conforto, Haniger, bringing Jock Peterson back, Stripling and Minaya in the rotation, a couple relievers as well. On the hands, runner comes home, throw comes home, the tag not in time. Estrada's in safely, and the Mets are going to want to take a close look at this.
Alonso does a nice job by backhanding it, makes a good throw. Estrada get his hand just in there.
New York is challenging the safe call at home plate.
And anytime Buck Showalter challenges, you're on the other side, you say, oh, shoot.
Right.
Because Buck, in the history of the challenge system, is the #1 guy, #1 success rate.
You know, the issue here is the call on the field is safe. So is there enough to overturn that call? I mean, I think if you're Buck, you've got to challenge regardless, just because of where we are in the game as far as the score. Alonso does a nice job, the backhand. Estrada, nice slide. So here's the question: if he doesn't have the mitten on, the glove, do you think those fingers get to home plate?
I don't. I think that makes the difference in this case.
I mean,
yeah, one of the big reasons for Buck Showalter's success in challenges is what is no longer a secret weapon. A guy named Harrison Friedland, whose previous job was working in the replay center for Major League Baseball. He's now their replay analyst back there, triggering these decisions. Actually signed him to a multi-year contract to be the replay guy. That much of a weapon. It's the new market inefficiency.
right, you got to have the best replay guy.
After review, the call, the field stands. The runner is safe. New York will lose their challenge.
So the run does score as the call stands, and it's 6-1 San Francisco. David Peterson, 6 runs in 6 innings at Dodger Stadium on Monday. 6 runs in 2 innings in San Francisco this afternoon. First and second, 1 gone. Wilmer Flores, strike 1. Flores walked his first time. There came the score on Crawford's first inning homer. Ball and a strike. Flores swings and misses, 1-2. David Peterson making his 5th start of the year, and really for a lot of these guys in the rotation, auditions to hang around as long as they can as the Mets get healthier and healthier in the rotation, get pieces back. 1-2 again. Flores loops it down the line, foul again. There's Justin Verlander, Jose Quintana yet to throw a pitch. 2 of the offseason signings. Carlos Carrasco placed on the injured list recently with elbow issues. And then Max Scherzer, the 10-day suspension. And so 4/5 of their planned rotation not available right now.
Right, and then you got to get into the bullpen possibly much earlier today than anticipated. And this is after the other day Scherzer was only able to go a couple innings.
And that pen's been good, EK, but man, they're getting used a lot.
You ain't lying.
Another 1-2. Flores fouls it again. And already some action down there.
Well, how about Buck talking to us about the Lindor at bat, his last appearance yesterday, and game was essentially over, but it gets a big base hit, but it saved his bullpen. He didn't have to go to Robertson, was able to use some guys, and how that's going to impact the next few days.
Pop fly, shallow center on this bright afternoon. Let's see if Lindor can find it. He can for out number 2. MLB fans, you still have a chance to win $10,000 playing Fox Bet Super 6. Simply download the free Super 6 app on your phone now and then enter your 6 picks in the MLB Super 6 Challenge for a chance to win big. 2 on, 2 out, and here is David Villar. Started the scoring with a sacrifice fly last inning. And shoots a 1-hopper, 2-hopper up the middle to Jeff McNeil, able to stay with it and throw him out and in the second. But after the 4-run first, 2-run score in the second, and it's 6-1 San Francisco. What a day, huh?
That's the difference between watching a game from last year. It's 4 hours and this year.
Tomas Nido out of the 9th spot takes a strike from Logan Webb. Nido, Nimmo, Marte for the Mets in this 3rd inning. Kind of offense that can erase a deficit like this. Scored 16 runs over the first 2 games in this series. It's a soft bouncer left side. VR to get Nido. To Logan Webb, 26 years old, from Rockland, California, which is outside of Sacramento. He's a guy that a deal like this had to get done. 5-year extension. Folks kind of started to figure it was a matter of time. You get a pitcher like this, homegrown. He's drafted in the 4th round in 2014. A local guy, no less. And as good as anybody in the National League the last couple of years when you consider the durability, too.
Well, you got the durability, you've got the youth, you've got the fact that he wants to be here. He wants to be that guy that the Giants build around. You know, he falls under that same breath, the Lincecum, the Kane, the Bumgarner.
Piece to build around, and Giants,
really
like
is.
we're talking about, are kind of looking for that. Nimmo hits the ball in the air to deep right center field. Conforto's on the move, and that one's gone. Brandon Nimmo's tear continues. 2nd home run. He's 11 of his last 16. White hot.
Went to the deepest part of the ballpark. That's a triples alley, right? You're thinking triple. He said, there's going to be a home run.
Wow.
Man,
you don't see too many balls get out right
that's
there.
it.
So it's 6-2 as Marte fouls it off. Brandon Nimmo, EK, just keeps on getting better, doesn't he?
I mean, the thing about him, you know, when he got that deal this offseason, you're thinking, okay, he had a great year last year, but he hasn't played a lot of games, injury prone.
Barehand pickup, VR. The speed of Marte beats the throw, and it's a bunt single.
You know, one of the things though about this Mets offense is it keeps coming at you. It wears you down. There isn't really an easy out to navigate through. Marte back in the line. This is just after a home run. Going to drop a bunt down.
It's a guy who's had some great stolen base totals throughout his career, but then this offseason had surgery on both groins. And so you wondered what the speed was going to be like this year, but he's leading them with 7 stolen bases, clearly confident in his legs laying a bunt down there. And that's the other dynamic of this offense, is the speed game. When Bono strikes on Lindor. And there he goes. Throw from Bart. Got him. Perfect throw from Joey Bart, and it was going to take that to get Marte.
Really a great job by the young catcher. Just dots that throw right there. Quick release. Craw making the quick tag.
We've had a lot of really close ones today. Feathers that one in there, and it's 1-2.
Marte needed the glove on his hand
He
to get him
did.
an extra couple inches.
And they go to Target
Like
and get him an
Estrada,
oven mitt.
right?
The 1-2 pitch. Lindor fouls it off. Hey, nice play in the on deck circle by Pete Alonso there. Another 1-2.
Hold on.
2-2. It's another home run against Logan Webb. 6th one that he's allowed in 5 starts this year, and again we touched on it earlier, but his previous career high 11 for a full season. He's now given up 15 fly balls this year. 6 have left the yard. Thankfully for the Giants, that is not sustainable.
Right.
Bottom falls out of this one, and he gets Lindor to finish off the 3rd. Mets chipping away. It's Brandon Nimmo, his 2nd home run of the season, and it's 6-2, middle 3. Brandon Crawford rifles the ball on the ground here to Jeff McNeil at 2nd, and 1 pitch, 1 out for David Peterson here in the 3rd. Joe Davis, Eric Karros, Ken Rosenthal back here in San Francisco. Mets have taken the first 2 games of this series. Giants with 4 in the 1st and 2 in the 2nd here in game 3, and a 6-2 score as Joey Bart comes up. Well, the one-time top prospect, the 2nd overall pick of the draft, the future catcher after Buster Posey. And those expectations huge. Performance early not good, and the runway at this point gone. Bart, they told him in spring training, you're part of an open competition. Getting more time now because Roberto Perez has been injured. And he's looked as good as he has in his few years in the majors here early on.
Swinging the bat better. We saw that throw last inning. Again, there's a clock for guys, and sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it takes some time. He's got the talent, and the bottom line is the confidence and the consistency. Just they have to show up.
Oh, 2 from Peterson. Look out. I never understand how you guys can get right back in there the next pitch after this.
How about the pitch clock going too, right? That's one of the things now. I mean, the umpire has a discretion, but that's one of the things that I said, geez, you get knocked down. I got 15 seconds to get back in.
Sends a fly ball to left center field that carries pretty well. Nimmo to the warning track where it eventually comes down for the 2nd out. Well, the USFL season continues next as the Memphis Showboats take on the defending champion Birmingham Stallions right here on Fox and the Fox Sports app. 2 up, 2 down in this 3rd inning as David Peterson looks for his first scoreless inning of the day. Elliot Ramos climbs in. Giants up there hacking. Ramos doubled his first time. 5th hit in his 25 at-bats this year. And now he pushes a bunt foul. Well, David Peterson rifles through him here in the 3rd inning, and we go to the 4th in a 6-2 game in San Francisco. Fox Saturday Baseball continues after this. By Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. The MLB app is totally refreshed for 2023. Still the #1 place for live baseball. Real-time highlights and breaking news faster than ever. Download the MLB app today. Beautiful day in San Francisco. It's 6-2 Giants. Heart of the order coming up against Logan Webb, whose first pitch to Pete Alonso is in there for a strike. Alonso is now tied for the major league lead in home runs. Max Muncy of the Dodgers has homered twice at Wrigley Field today, and he's got 10 as well. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See Webb trying to stay away from Alonso. He got him last time to fly out the center, but he went with that sinker and then the slider, both on the outer part of the plate. I mean, if anything right here, you run that sinker in off the hands or you stay away. Staying away.
Alonso leading the majors this season, leading the majors since he debuted in home runs and runs knocked in. Out of the 1-2 pitch. Boy, it looked like a cross up, but it's strike 3.
It looked like a cross-up because of the movement on that pitch by Webb. You watch this thing. This is a sinker. It starts off outside and just comes back. Look at this thing move.
Whoa.
I mean, that hit off Bart's heel of the glove, and it wasn't because he thought it was another pitch. I mean, that's crazy movement right there. That thing's. That's why I said Webb. It's an uncomfortable at bat, not in an intimidation way, but just like, how am I going to get the barrel to that ball?
Jeff McNeil slaps one left side. Crawford gets there, throws late. Infield hit for McNeil.
See Brandon Crawford almost behind second base. He has to range to his right. Backhand, and he's not going to get McNeil. McNeil runs halfway decent, and he's on the left side. And he's sniffing a hit. All those things make you go a little faster.
Second infield hit of the day for the Mets. Runner on with 1 away from Mark Canha. Walked his first time. And came in to score on the Vogelbach double. We're talking about Logan Webb's sinker. He actually came up throwing a 4-seam. And he only started throwing the 2-seam because his arm was bothering him when he was throwing the 4-seam. And he thought, let me mess around with the 2-seam a little more. And what he found was that his natural arm slot was a better match for a sinker than it was for the 4-seam. And then he goes through the Tommy John rehab, solidifies that idea, and reinvented himself from where he was when he first came into pro ball. That shot through the right side. Base hit for Canha. And the Mets have him at first and second.
Well, you talked about Canha having success against Webb historically, and this pitch, again, with that sinker, as a right-handed hitter, you want to just shoot that thing to right field, to right center. You think about pulling a guy like Webb, it's just going to be ground ball after ground ball to short if you're a right-handed hitter. Canha doing a nice job.
So with runners at first and second, Vogelbach, who didn't miss a home run by much his first time out into Triples Alley, settled for an RBI double. And takes strike 1.
Hit it to Triples Alley and got a double.
Yeah.
Is that how that's?
It felt like he should have had a homer.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Takes that sinker that dives back in. 0-2.
Again, it's just right at the left-handed hitter, about hip high. And you see Vogelbach, he's lifting the arms up. He thinks that's going to be inside.
Runners take off. Throw from Bart to third is in time. Second runner that Joey Bart has gotten over the last 2 innings.
He just thinks that this ball is going to bounce further away from Bart. Bart does a nice job of corralling it and makes a good throw to third. McNeil out easily.
Kind of thought about it and then threw on the brakes and retreated. And so just like that, Webb's a strike away from this inning ending. Here's his 1-2. Got him. Well, that went from trouble to nothing in the blink of an eye. Suit up this season at MLBshop.com. Gear up with your favorite team at MLBshop.com. Lamont Wade Jr. leads off this inning, takes inside from David Peterson. Wade, who is the leadoff guy against right-handed pitchers, rarely plays against lefties, in there today, hitting 9th. Struck out his first time. And a ball and a strike on him. Giants got him in a trade from Minnesota in 2021, and then he unveiled some power in really a season that nobody saw coming. He had hit 2 home runs in parts of 2 seasons in the majors with the Twins. His career high in a minor league season was 11. He had 18 of them in 2021. I got that nickname Late Night Lamont.
Had some big hits late in the game and in extra innings. I love that nickname, Late Night
So
Lamont.
good. I'm going to start calling you that. Take strike 3 here. We just didn't see that one from Peterson, who's got his 4th K. And he's retired 7 in a row. Back to the top of the order, and Thairo Estrada. Ball, no strikes. The 27-year-old from Behuma, Venezuela. Only big leaguer from there. It's about 45 minutes from Valencia. Bounces this one by third and into left. Kind of a short hop that scoots over Beatty's glove. He's trying to take second and will.
Estrada never broke stride at all, and you see this ball. Beatty just not sure what he wanted to do, whether he was going to go back, go forward, just kind of got in between it. You see Estrada, couple of instances, not only that, but remember he went first to third at the beginning of the game. The base running has been excellent by him today.
They ruled that an error on Beatty. Strike on Ruff. Knocked in a run his last time with a single. Behind 0-2.
Yeah, looking for something different right there, kind of kicking himself. He took that pitch.
The 0-2 from Peterson is very high. Ball 1. Four in the first, 2 in the second. Peterson now doing his best to eat up as many of these innings as he can with that bullpen being taxed. He gets a strikeout here. Number 5 and 2 gone in the 4th. Well, as Michael Conforto sets out and tries to win himself most improved player of the year, comeback player of the year, does it after a year where he says he reset his whole perspective on everything. The year away after the shoulder surgery. Takes a strike. And he said he had to look at it like that. It couldn't be a completely lost year. Had to use it as a mental reset, where he now enters this season saying, you know what, 0 for 3 is a heck of a lot better than not being able to play at all. is doing his best not to let the down days weigh on him as much, given that new perspective. Behind here 0-2.
I think it's the only way you can approach it moving forward, because while he was with the Mets, they'd offered him a multi-year deal and he turned it down. And then you go on, you don't have a good season, you're injured, and you start saying to yourself, what if, and should I have? And while that's normal to do, it's not going to be productive moving forward.
Yeah, the multi-year deal going into his walk year, and then when he struggled, the qualifying offer, turned that down too. And just overplayed his hand a little bit, but lands on his feet here with a 2-year contract. Estrada's at second, 2 gone, and a 1-2 from David Peterson. Playing in his first games in 18 months, and it's remarkable how smooth. I know the numbers aren't great, but how smooth he looks right away.
Well, how about Gabe Kapler telling us that if he were to teach a little leaguer, just from scratch, how to hit all the basics, he would use Michael Conforto in his swing. His ability to use the ground, his hips, to be linear a bit too as well. I mean, all the foundation. Starts early. I mean, he does look good in the box, as far as looks like he's going to do some damage.
Hitterish.
Hitterish.
Here's a 2-2. Conforto swings and misses. And that is a couple scoreless innings after the 6-2 for Peterson. For Logan Webb so far in this game, pretty similar to what it's been for a lot of the year for the Giants ace. The one difference is he's getting some run support. In fact, he's doubled support from his first 4 games here over the first 4 innings. Strike 1 on Brett Baty. Webb looking for his first win in his 5th start. It's the first time in his career he's lost 4 consecutive decisions. 0-2. Gabe Kapler and the Giants have maintained that they're not one bit worried about Webb. The way the pitches are moving and a lot of the underlying numbers have remained very encouraging. Striking out more hitters than ever, walking fewer hitters than ever.
Gabe commented that the Giants in the last few years have always outdone or outperformed the projections. And that even though with this start, you can start thinking, oh boy, it's going to be one of those years.
Good Spady.
He still feels good about where they're at, when they become whole, what the product is that they're going to be able to put out on the field. Got confidence in the guys. Is it the perfect team? No, but it's not what this record has shown.
Yeah, 6-13. It's tied for the worst record in franchise history through 19 games. And from the pitching side, you have what we talked about, which is a ground ball staff that's given up an inordinate amount of homers. Strike 1 on Tomas Nido. That's not going to stay that way. And offensively, I mean, they're not making the excuse for making it for him. Haniger, Slater, Peterson, Conforto has been out, limited to pinch hitting. Key injuries that are keeping them from being what they'll be. So you don't have to squint that hard to see what the Giants are saying. It's just, what does that become? And is it enough?
Well, that's the thing. What is it? It's interesting because Gabe had mentioned it. We've been better than our projection. So if the projection is 500 or right around there, then okay. But the hope and the expectation is always to get to the playoffs.
Crawford's there. 2 up, 2 down.
And I think you look at this division, you've got 4 teams that are going to be competitive, right? When you're talking about the National League West. Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Giants. I don't, Colorado is going to struggle this year, I think.
think you're right.
That's
2 away for Nimmo.
Watson.
Takes inside, ball 1. Nimmo hit a home run his last time. Into Triples Alley, over Triples Alley, and gone. A little boost from the wind, and actually the wind has picked up some, and it is straight out.
Outside.
2-0.
But 415, you know, like wind or no wind, that's still a poke, right? You know, he's just seeing the ball well.
Backhand play at first by Wilmer Flores. 1-2-3 5th, Logan Webb, and halfway home on Fox Saturday Baseball. You can stream every out-of-market MLB game live or on demand. New and included for this year is streaming all minor league baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Bottom of the 5th inning, heart of the order for the Giants. Wilmer Flores, who is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored, is behind David Peterson, 0-2. Peterson throws. Flores hits a high fly ball to deep left field. Canna's at the wall. It's gone. Wilmer Flores does it to the Mets. Third of the season for Flores, and it's 7-2 San Francisco.
Flores gets an 0-2 pitch, and it's just center cut right there. And I think he's probably more surprised than anybody, and he does not miss it at all.
And now it's Villar smashing a ball to center field. That one is caught at the wall by Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo continues to be the eraser in center field, but the Giants continue to not be fooled one bit by David Peterson.
Nimmo gets a nice jump, and then you see leaves his feet right there, and it goes into the wall.
It's another part of his game where he's made such huge strides. He's graded out as one of the best defensive center fielders in the National League the last couple of years. Strike on Crawford. Corresponds with him playing deeper. Previously, a lot of those balls would get over his head. And he also credits his purposeful training. Strengthening his arm, getting faster, more agile to be able to track balls down like that.
And that's one of the reasons why the Mets bet on him. Not necessarily the physical attributes, but the personality, the characteristics, the wanting to get better, the responsibility to the organization, the pride.
0-2 to Crawford is chased for strike 3. 2 gone. Kenny, you've got more on Nimmo.
Joe, I asked Brandon yesterday if he felt a special obligation to justify that 8-year, $162 million free agent contract, and he said no. He simply felt he could get more out of himself, specifically become a more consistent hitter. The Mets coaches always tell him, you are better than you think you are, and Eric, you're going to love this. Nimmo cites a quote from the late John Wooden. Don't measure yourself by what you have accomplished, by what you should.
It's a cliffhanger on the Wooden quote.
The quote was, don't measure yourself by what you have accomplished, but what you should have accomplished with your ability.
I like it.
Anything John Wooden you gotta like, huh? UCLA guy or
They've
not?
got the UCLA up here. You got Brandon Crawford hitting the 3-run home run, a great UCLA alum.
Ball and a strike on Joey Bart.
And then Nimmo's quoting John Wooden.
Love
there
it.
you go.
What's up?
And Nimmo has always been so focused on that idea, on the idea of maximizing your ability, that his dad built him a pole barn in Wyoming so he could practice year-round. Warmed it up to about 40 degrees in that pole barn, and they had their shirts off saying, it's balmy in here. Helped him become the only guy ever drafted in the first round out of the cold of Wyoming. Come on back. Joey's saying I will, but I'm going to want that strike from my guys.
Man. Yeah, you can't argue when you're a catcher, right? You're going to have to sit back there with that umpire.
Now 3-2. Strike three to the knees to finish off the fifth. It begins, though, with a Wilmer Flores home run, making it 7-2. And so the hill a little bit taller for Alonso and the Mets after 5 in San Francisco. A new center fielder for the Giants. That's Brett Wisely. Got his first hit as a big leaguer yesterday, and he's in center replacing Elliot Ramos as we go to the 6th inning, and Logan Webb delivers strike 1 to Starling Marte. 2, 3, and 4 for the Mets in this 6th. Marte in his first game back from missing a few with the neck injury is 1 for 2. The Giants EK have had the recipe right today. Get some early runs and have this guy on the mound.
Yeah, 6 runs in the first 2 innings for the for the Giants, and Logan Webb on the hill. And
bouncing ball to second, but a bunch of those. Estrada throws him out. And now Lindor.
Don't miss that one, Joe. You got the A's and the Angels, Ohtani and Trout, Monday night on FS1.
Doing that one?
I'll be there.
All right. Fly to center field. Wisely fresh into the game, settles under it for out number 2. Here comes Pete Alonso. That's a bit of a tease, but take a guess, folks, at who these 2 hitters might be. Very similar resumes through 551 games in the major leagues. Pete Alonso, 156 home runs to Aaron Judge's 149 through this stage of his career. More RBIs, same number of all-star trips.
Oh, it's out.
And the point is not that Pete Alonso is Aaron Judge, but the point is Pete Alonso doesn't get as much praise as he probably deserves.
No, he really doesn't. You talk about the home runs and the RBIs since 2019. And I think for me, the thing that's more impressive is that he continues to get better. I think just even on the early part of this season, the ability to control the strike zone, you see where he stands in the history of Mets home run leaders. Straw, the captain, David Wright, Mike Piazza.
1 and 2 on Alonso. Yeah, strikeouts have gone down. His on-base percentage has gone up every year. He's taken a lot of pride in using the whole field. So, yeah, you've got the home runs, but he sprays line drives all over the place, too. Here he takes strike 3. Webb carves him up and goes quickly to the Mets in the 6th. Been a rough week for David Peterson. He gave up 6 runs in 6 innings on Monday, 7 runs in 5 innings today. Hands it off to the bullpen, and Edwin Uceta making his Mets debut. Yeah, getting strike 1 on Brett Wisely, who's up there for the first time today. Wisely cracks one in the air to left center field. Fading back there to the track and over the shoulder the catch by Mark Canha. Well, Edwin Uceta debuted with the Dodgers in 2021 as a fairly highly regarded prospect, and then went to the Diamondbacks. Handful of games for them last year. This is the 4th organization that he's been with in 2023. This year alone, he goes from the Diamondbacks to the Tigers to the Pirates to the Mets, and finally gets to pitch for him. Lamont Wade takes the ball.
He's got a decent arm. He can run it up there about 94, 95. He's got a sinker. He likes to throw his changeup, curveball as well. I mean, you see the movement on that thing right there, that changeup. That thing just, man, it's had some serious run to it.
Here's 1-1 to Wade. Is hammered down the line. Foul. Wow. They got Wade in a matchup they like now. He's hitting ninth because he was a left-handed starter, but he does his damage against right-handed pitchers, which is pretty much all the Mets have out of the bullpen. And he's ahead 2-1. Uceta, the first big leaguer from Villos Almacigos in the Dominican Republic. Small town at the base of the mountains in the northwest part of the country. Grew up dreaming of being the next Pedro Martinez, an undersized guy. His 3-2 misses away, and Wade has a walk. The USFL season continues next. The Memphis Showboats and the defending champion Birmingham Stallions right here on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Back to the top, and Estrada, who's been on all 3 times today. 2 singles and reached on an error.
Yeah, Estrada's had a nice ball game so far. You mentioned on base all 3 times. He's ran the bases well. He's provided some energy. You said it. He's been really their best player so far this season.
A guy that once played a season with a bullet lodged in his hip. The winter of 2018, he's on the verge of reaching the majors with the Yankees at this point. He's out with his wife in Venezuela for a goodbye dinner before going to spring training, and he's getting ready to sit down at the table when a stranger walks up and demands he empty his wallet. And Tyro says, all I have is a credit card. Guy doesn't believe him, starts to yell, shoots him in the hip. So they rush Tyro to the hospital, undergoes what would be a failed surgery to get rid of the bullet. And so winds up playing much of that season with the bullet in there. Got to remove the second surgery. Down swinging here on a high fastball. Happy ending to it, though. A year later, he's wearing pinstripes in the major leagues for the Yankees. And a couple years after that, well established as one of the pieces of this Giants team. 2 away in the 6th, and up comes Darin Ruf. RBI single for Ruf back in the 2nd inning. A couple strikeouts around that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants have the 2 homers today, but they do have 9 more strikeouts, running their major league leading total even higher. It's by a wide stretch that they lead the majors in strikeouts. A lot of young guys in the lineup where you're typically going to have strikeouts, and then guys that usually aren't strikeout victims that have been striking out more than usual.
I think that formula is going to change too, though, as far as teams winning ball games. Oh, we've got to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and because with the rule changes, they're putting the ball in play, and the shift being eliminated, the running the bases, the stealing bases. I feel like it's going to trend more towards contact and putting the ball in play. And yes, the home runs are going to still be there, but I don't think you're going to need to be the top 3 or 4 to win a World Series.
Because that's been the only way the last decade.
Right. You've got to hit home runs. I mean,
another 1-2 to Ruf. Look out again. 2-2. I really feel like that's maybe the best part, the best outcome of these rule changes is that there is now a diversity in styles team to team.
There's a different way to attack it every year. 100% right.
And win.
Yes.
Grounded to short. Lindor so smooth over there, having a great season defensively. Goes the short way and ends the 6th. A run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd, nothing since against Logan Webb, who looks for his first win of the year. Top 7, 7-2 Giants. Jeff McNeil leads off. Yeah, takes ball 1. McNeil, Canna, and Vogelbach due up in this inning, with Webb sitting at 86 pitches. (2-0).
Well, this is the guy that Webb wants to get. Canna has had his number historically, been on twice. He's looming on deck.
Grounder back to Webb. Fields his position very well. Rainbow over there to first. 1 gone in the 7th, and we go to a former Met great, Kevin Burkhardt, with a game break. All right, KB, a strike on Canna. Garrett Cole's scoreless streak up to 20 innings. Got a couple long scoreless streaks going in the majors right now. You have Cole, and Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks is doing it again. Bouncing ball to short. Brandon Crawford waits on it and triggers it over there to get him. Gallen had a 44 inning scoreless streak last year. He's at 21 2/3 right now. And how about Drew Smyly yesterday?
Right.
And we can put Ohtani on every graphic and talk about him all day, but Drew Smyly finds himself on there taking a perfect game into the 8th and had it end in the most heartbreaking fashion.
Yeah, if you didn't see it, you've got to take a look at that. Yan Gomes basically, he was trying to get out of the way, but he effectively took Smyly out of the play, right?
Tackled him out of a perfect game.
Yeah.
No, that's being hard on him. What do you think? Did he have a play?
I don't know that he would have. I don't know that he would have. It would have been a bang bang, but Yan made sure that there was going to be no play, right? Did you see he did his interviews after the game in a football helmet?
That's so good.
I mean, he was great about it.
Vogelbach takes a strike. Cubby's going to give some teams some problems, huh?
Yeah, David Ross has got those guys going in the right direction, and they're winning ball games. And Cody Bellinger swinging the bat really well.
Cubs,
Wisdom. How about Wisdom?
Yeah,
Patrick
right.
Wisdom right up there. Home runs.
12-8 after the Dodgers beat him today. As good as they've been, they're in 3rd place because you got the Brewers, mild surprise at 14-6, and then the Buccos break up the Buccos. Pirates have won 5 in a row and are tied with the Mets and the Braves and the Brewers for the most wins in the National League. They're 14-7. 3-2. Spoiled. It's their best start since 1992. Brian Reynolds, who they tried to trade and then tried to do an extension with, is off to a great start. David Bednar back into that bullpen. And they've gotten some starting pitching for the first time in a long time.
Wave the Jolly Roger, right?
Hey, finally. I think it got musty. Swing and a miss, and Logan Webb, 7 excellent innings today. Sleep partner of MLB. Listen to every MLB game live or on demand. New and included for this season. You can watch all minor league baseball games and live look-ins on MLB Big Inning. No blackouts. Michael Conforto starts the bottom of the 7th, and a side spinning fly ball into that bright sunshine. Canna in trouble. He's able to find it in what has to be a lonely couple of seconds. It looked like Conforto is going to find his way aboard with a gift, but ultimately 1 pitch, 1 out.
Canna does a nice job of staying with that thing, and a lot of times when you're out there in the field, You have an idea where it goes, and then you lose it for a bit. And that is the ultimate panic. You're just hoping you can pick it up. It comes out of the sun soon enough where you can still make the catch. He does.
For the first out of the 7th, and Wilmer Flores now takes a strike. This is can be a tough place for hitters during day games, tough place for fielders too, that bright sun.
Got a lot going on here, and then you add the wind as well. But it is one of the most beautiful ballparks to watch a game. You've got the bay beyond the field. And again, one of the nicest ballparks in all of Major League Baseball.
Two on to Flores, who homered his last time against his old squad. Today, the Mets have 2 runs on 5 hits. Ex-Mets have scored 3 runs on 3 hits. Ruff, Conforto, and Flores combined. Good work, Jake Fuller, and our graphics crew. Popped up, back of first. Pete Alonso puts it away. Edwin Uceta trying to eat up some innings here. We talk about this bullpen for the Mets being taxed. They've only had 4 quality starts this year. The obvious trickle down to that is that these relievers, while they've been good, are getting used a bunch.
And Buck Showalter is real good about preserving his bullpen. In fact, he was the manager that last year used relievers the least in back-to-back situations, meaning one game to the next. On the flip side, the San Francisco Giants were the most in using guys back-to-back games. And it does. It just, you know, it's not only getting in the game, but it's also getting up, getting loose. And those guys in the bullpen will tell you that's wear and tear. And then you wonder, you know, why can't they do the job in August? Well, it was because in April and May, I was pitching every day.
Ain't that going to be the question with this Mets team? Doesn't look like it's shaping up again to be the same thing. Can they hold on? 132 days in first place last year. Lost the tiebreaker to the Braves ultimately. It's a 2-out walk for David Villar. And by the looks of the schedule, they're only going to make more hay. This is what they have coming up over the next month. Now, the Braves series, obviously a featured one, and we'll have that Saturday game here on Fox. But outside of that, the best team that they're going to play, the 7-11 Tigers. Everybody else a worse record than that.
Right, 14 games that, as you mentioned, they should make hay on. 14 of them.
But the question for the Mets year after year is not, are they any good? It's, can they hang on? Can they finish? Can they succeed in the postseason once they get there? Finally did last year for the first time in 6 years, but bowed out in the wild card round.
Well, it's just like Buck was telling us so prior to the game that, you know, nothing is as it seems. And if you have plans that this is the way things are going to play out, as he likes to refer to it, the baseball gods, they usually have different ideas.
1-2 on Crawford. Good change there from Uceta. Great baseball philosopher, Buck Showalter. Nothing is as it seems. Crawford has a home run of his own today. Launched the Giants out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning with a 3-run shot. There goes Villar from first. Throw to second is in time, and he is out number 3. So we've played 7 innings in San Francisco, and it's 7-2 Giants. Scott Alexander's off to a fantastic start, and otherwise pretty rough first few weeks for the bullpen. Alexander with a 123 in his first 8 games. Replaces Logan Webb, and first pitch, Beatty singles into center field. So it was a great day for Webb. 7 innings and finally got some support. He struck out 7 and he got a bunch of balls on the ground.
Yeah, he really did. Kept his defense involved. Had a ton of movement on that sinker. Pitched up in the zone a little bit today, as he mentioned he would. It's a nice outing for Logan Webb.
Tomas Nido takes ball 1. For more on Logan Webb, down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, you mentioned the strikeouts. They were big for Logan Webb today. And it's funny, guys, we talk a lot about which hit.
We'll get back with Kenny in a moment. Kenny, we got you. 1-1 on Nido. Sure is making us yearn for his information, though. It's on the edges of our seats. Nido lays the bunt down. Alexander over to grab it. His throw is in time, but gets by Flores. Beatty advances to third. And very quickly, Page turns from Webb to the bullpen, and the Mets are making noise.
Really a heck of a play by Alexander to get off of the mound. And
I think he had him if Flores had caught it.
Right, he makes an off-balance throw, but Flores unable to pick it over at first base. And not really that difficult. It bounced on the grass, and Wilmer unable to come up with it.
Andrew Bailey's coming out. What is the single most difficult ball to pick as a first baseman?
For me, it was the one that was either right on the edge of the cut of the grass and the dirt, because you didn't know if if it hit the grass, it would kind of skid. If it hit the dirt, maybe it would, pop up a little bit. But if it hit right on the cut, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right on the cut.
Then you got to hope for good luck, huh?
There's a lot of hoping for good luck over there.
Now the Mets put the first 2 on, and that's 8 and 9 in the order. Now they got the big boppers coming up with Brandon Nimmo. He's got a home run today. And he grounds the first pitch foul. Above 500 on this road trip, where the Mets are 7-1 through Oakland, LA, and here in San Francisco. Bounces this one back to Alexander. Guns it to second one. Crawford's throw to first, not in time.
Nimmo was moving down that line. I thought they were going to be able to turn 2. Alexander does a nice job, a good feed, and Krog gets it over there, but Nimmo hustling the whole way. See Flores too, got his foot right on top of the bag, just not where you want to be as a first baseman. You can get a little further out if you're touching on the side, and also stay out of injury's way.
Marte, with 2 runners aboard, takes a ball. He is 1 for 3 in his first game back from the neck issue. He's got Beatty at first, or at third, Nimmo at first. Alexander's 1-0 is lined into left center field. A base hit from Marte to bring home Beatty. 7-3. So Marte, who's 1 for his last 19 dealing with that neck injury, gets a few days off today. He's 2 for 4.
It's just down in the zone over the big part of the plate. Giants have some issues right now. You've got Lindor and then Pete Alonso.
And it has been the bullpen that has been consistently the biggest issue. They got a 5.47 ERA. Only the Phillies worse in the National League to this point. And we were saying, though, Alexander's been one of the pieces they've been able to rely on. John Brebbia begins to warm.
Well, just nothing's been easy for the Giants so far this year. I mean, nothing.
Alexander not close, 2-0. Dropped 7 of 8. They had a tough road trip. Came back home here, and the Mets have taken the first 2. On 2-0, Lindor chops it foul. Mets trying to win their 9th out of their last 10. They would have to do it with a big comeback, though. They've trailed right from the start. 4 runs in the first inning for the Giants today. 2 more in the second. On a 2-1, Lindor takes ball 3. Alonso waiting on deck. Ten home runs for him this season, and most of them have been meaningful home runs, not just late inning blowout home runs. Lindor gets under this 3-1 pitch up into that bright sunshine that's proven to be difficult. Wisely takes charge and makes the grab. New to center field, but ruling like the captain out there on that play.
Yeah, I think he had, because he was coming from a different angle, the sun wasn't impacting him as far as seeing the ball. See left fielder having a little trouble right there. And the minute he hears Wisely, he's like, all right, it's all yours.
All right, so here's the Mets' chance. Chance for a game-changing swing from the major league leader in home runs, Pete Alonso. 0 for 3 today. 2 homers and 8 knocked in the first 2 games of this series. And he pulls one on the ground to short for Crawford. He'll go to second, and on 1 pitch, Alexander sits him down and ends the inning. By Geico. See how easy it is to bundle all your insurance needs. Well, on this date, Tom Seaver, 19 strikeouts, including 10 straight at one point, tying a major league record. 7-3 game in the 8th inning. Brandon Crawford leading off against Edwin Uceta and taking ball 1. 3-run home run in the first inning for Crawford. Snapped an 0 for 14 slot. Pops this one up, foul ground, and Nido can't find it. One of those days where every ball up there is going to be an adventure. One and 2. Mets got to like what they're seeing with Uceta, huh?
He's throwing the ball well. He's got that changeup, and look at the fact that he can just eat some innings up right now.
Comes home with a 2-2. Crawford takes ball 3.
Crawford had that 3-2 count his first time up, ended up hitting a 3-run home run.
13th season with the Giants, and the last of that 2-year deal that he signed after the resurgent 2021. Takes strike 3 on a fastball that splits the plate. 1 gone in the 8th inning. Another check in with Kevin Burkhardt for a game break. All right, KB, he got off to a very slow start, and it was here in San Francisco, as so many times for Max Muncy it's been in his career, where he got going early last week. 1 ball, 1 strike on Joey Bart. Muncy's hit 23 homers against the Giants in his career.
think none more famous than that one against Madison Bumgarner, and those two had some words.
Bumgarner, by the way, DFA'd by the Diamondbacks. It looked like it was going to be a matter of time with the way that Bumgarner was struggling. And Arizona now serious about contending.
Right. You know what shocked me? 33 years old.
Yeah.
Right? That blows me away.
I
just
know.
With how long he's been around, how much he's accomplished, what he's done in this game. Yeah, I figure that's got to be 37, 38. I mean, there was a stretch that if you needed to win a game, there's nobody else you'd rather have on the mound. I mean, there may have been guys that had better stuff or better, but as far as going out there competing, winning a game, Bumgarner.
Yeah, no matter if he ever finds it again, it remains that he's one of the great postseason pitchers ever.
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, what a run San Francisco had. 3 World Series in 5 years. Huh.
Another payoff pitch, and this one hits Bart. So one out base runner for the Giants, and tomorrow the NASCAR Cup Series returns to Fox as the series heads to Talladega, and you can catch all the action with the pre-race kicking things off at 2 Eastern, and then the engines fire for the Geico 500 at 3 Eastern right here on Fox. Pitching coach Jeremy Hefner out there for a visit with Ushetta, making his Mets debut. Series will wrap up tomorrow. It'll be Tyler McGill for the Mets, Ross Stripling for the Giants, Jimmy Yacobonis loosening. Mets will finish up this long road trip, head back to New York, where they'll have their first matchups with the Braves this season coming next weekend in a 4-game series. Brett Wisely got his first big league hit last night. Off of the bench today, flied to left. Grounded sharply to first. Alonso lobs it to second. Back to first they go with Wisely's speed. And with a hesitation as Alonso waited for Lindor to get to the bag. It's a fielder's choice.
I think two things played a role in him. Just kind of throwing that high, had to wait for him to get there, and actually Bart just running completely out of the lane, and Alonso I think was trying to figure he had to go over Bart. Unable to turn it there.
Wade with 2 away. Strike 1. It's going to be interesting, EK, to look mid-season and see where the Giants are as we have time for the Giants to get healthy, and some of the odd numbers with the pitching staff that just don't add up to normalize. Where will the Giants be?
I think if things go well for them, I think they're, you know, a high 80s win total, right?
Which is part of the postseason picture,
right? But they have to go well, and there's a lot of ifs.
And to be high 80s with this hole that they've dug themselves,
right,
they got to be well above 500 the rest of the way.
They've got to have health. That's the bottom line. They just don't have the depth, you know, to withstand the losses that they have right now. I mean, you're talking about, again, Peterson, Haniger, you know, Conforto is back, Slater.
Tomas Nido didn't like that one. Settles back in for this 1-2 pitch from Ushetta.
Oh no.
It's taken high as well. Oh, he went around. Bill Miller says get out of here. And sends this game to the 9th.
If it's possibly a strike, Bill Miller's calling it a strike.
He was right.
Did. He was right 100%. Do it, Bill.
The USFL season continues next. The Memphis Showboats and the defending champion Birmingham Stallions right here on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Giants lead this one. And Brandon Crawford with a big swing of the day in the first inning. A 3-run home run for a guy who's really been struggling this season. A good moment to get a good day going for the Giants.
And really a great moment. 3-2 pitch right there. Crawford puts that thing into the bay. I mean, that got him going. That separated things.
Not been many chances, CK, for Camilo Doval to pitch with the deficits the Giants have faced. They'll bring their closer in here, even though it's a non-save situation.
Sinker 97, 98, a cutter 99. This is another no fun to hit against guy.
Because it's explosive like that, but half the time he's not entirely sure where it's going.
It's going, it's moving, it just. This is an uncomfortable at bat because of intimidation.
Nimmo grounds it to second. Good range. Estrada sets his feet and throws him out.
Estrada has had a real nice day. Defensively, running the bases, setting the tone, getting on base. This is not easy. He gets over there and moves his feet to get his body turned properly. Makes a good throw. Nice range.
One away here in the ninth. Strike on Canha. I think this has devilish movement.
There's the only hope you have, right? That's the slider that's 86 miles an hour. He doesn't throw that thing very often.
This is 1-1. 100 to the edge.
Well, that's the thing. And this year it's just been sinker cutter. The slider's been occasional. Now, last year the slider is what he threw the most.
Chopper to third. Backs up VR. Wrong throw. And Flores comes off of the bag to get it. Canha aboard for the third time today.
There does a nice job of getting over there. Gets rid of it quickly. Throw just not on line. Canha busting it.
One away in the ninth. Daniel Vogelbach. That's the other thing, AK, with the Giants today is defensively they've been pretty airtight, combined with Logan Webb pitching and getting all those ground balls.
I think that's one of the things when you have a pitcher like Webb and he keeps you involved, you stay on your toes. You're a little more adept to being involved in the game. And it always helps defensively. Nothing worse than a guy going deep in counts and walking guys or even striking them out.
2-1. Two and two. Vogelbach stays alive. Fouls another.
Duvall going after him with that sinker. Last couple of pitches right there.
Got the power for Vogelbach, but a tough out too. Guy draws a lot of walks. Making Duvall work. Another 3-2 is ripped down the line, just foul. .30 years old in his 8th season. From Seattle to Toronto for a short time, then Milwaukee, then Pittsburgh, and seems to have found a nice home with New York. He had a 30 home run year in 2019. It was an all-star for the Mariners. But then a lot of those teams we talked about, that's come over the last few seasons, bouncing from one team to the next. This battle wages on.
Well, he's just that left-handed bat that teams want to acquire for a playoff run or playoff push. I think that he's somebody that he is somebody that can add some power, swing off the bench.
With the 10th pitch. Oh, don't end it on a pitch clock violation. Ball 4. It's as if he just completely spaced. Gabe Kapler is saying that the clock didn't reset. I don't know about you, EK, but I've not seen a situation like this where it's been argued and then talked about and changed on a violation.
I have yet to either, and I'm not sure what they're asking. Obviously, we saw Gabe come out and said it didn't reset. Back, yep. Gabe was on it.
All right.
Let's see, Buck.
He may be saying, well, now, how do you know it didn't reset?
Set right.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look. .20. Was there another disengagement where it should have reset again? Steps off there.
He steps off.
And Gabe Kapler is exactly right.
Yep.
Yep, never reset.
Not going to get much by Gabe when it comes to that sort of stuff. He's on it. As meticulous a manager as I've seen.
In his 4th season, taking over for Bruce Bochy. All right, here we go. 10-pitch battle between Camilo Duvall and Daniel Vogelbach. Mets trying to keep their hopes alive here in the 9th inning. What we got now? PitchCom issues.
Technology not working, right?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing, though, that the violations have been as few and far between as they have, where it's down close to like a violation every other game.
But you figure as people get used to it and become more accustomed to the way the game is being played, it really is second nature. I just think, you know, the way we've televised games, you know, we've had the pitch clock up the first week, and now we don't really pay that much attention to it.
You just feel the benefits.
Right.
The pace of action. Now 3-2. And strike 3 call. Funny game baseball is.
Vogie doesn't think so right now, though. That is, I mean, he's up there just busting to try to keep the at-bat alive, and then after all that, he's not happy.
Boy, death stare to Chad Whitson. So it's up to Beatty, and he takes strike 1. Singled his last time, came in to score the Mets' 3rd run. Runner takes off on a ground ball foul off his foot. And the Mets are down to their last strike. And so on the verge of falling to 7-2 on what is still an excellent road trip. The Giants trying to set up a chance at a series split tomorrow to get their season rolling. They'll be looking for their first back-to-back wins of the year tomorrow behind Ross Stripling. Doval's 0-2. Ball 1. Runner takes second. Defensive indifference. The 1-2. Now the 2-2. It is poked to the left. Here comes Wade. He can't get there. Beatty with his second hit of the day. It drives home Canha, 7-4. And the Mets get the tying run to the on-deck circle.
Beatty shoots this thing, an outside pitch, and lets that ball travel. Wade does a nice job of keeping it in front of him.
Buck Showalter is going to send up a pinch hitter here for Tomas Nido. It will be Luis Guillorme, who's reached base in 7 straight games. If Guillorme can get on base, Brandon Nimmo is going to come up representing the tying run here in the 9th inning. Camilo Doval, 21 pitches into the 9th. Deals. Strike 1 to the inside edge. Beatty to second. Grounded to second. That should do it. Estrada's got it. And the Giants get their first win of this series. A lot of offense early. A lot of Logan Webb throughout. And 7-4 the final.
Giants swung the bat well. Logan Webb pitched well. It's a good recipe. Giants going for the series win tomorrow.
7-4 final score in this one. With the home runs from Crawford and Wilmer Flores. Giants take this one. The Mets fall to 14-8. Game back of the Braves, who they'll welcome into New York for a 4-game series next weekend. And we'll be there next Saturday on Fox Saturday Baseball. Coming up next, we'll send you back to L.A. in the studio. Kevin Burkhardt has post-game coverage and leads you up to the USFL. 7-4 the final. Have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll talk to you next time.